Hi, everyone. I'm Madame Amy Murray, and I'm the principal of the Early Childhood Division here at CFIS. So first, welcome to Early Childhood at ECE. One of the first things that I like to make sure that parents have an understanding of is what exactly does it mean to say that your child is in ECE at CFIS. Our school is divided into three educational divisions: the Early Childhood Division, the Elementary Division, which is grades 1 to 6, and the Secondary Division, which is grades 7 to 12. In early childhood, we have 3 grade levels, and they really do function as grade levels within our larger school. Early childhood here is not just an appendix to the real school. They really are grade levels, and they're full members of our community right from the time they start with us, even at age 3. So our preschool program is for 3-year-olds. We offer a half-day and a full-day program. It is considered a licensed childcare program by the province of Alberta, but for our purposes, we don't consider it childcare, we consider it school. We offer a junior kindergarten program for 4-year-olds, also with a half-day and a full-day option, which is also licensed through Alberta Childcare Licensing. And then our kindergarten program is for 5-year-olds. It is a full-day program. All of our kindergarten students attend 5 full days a week, every day. And then within the same umbrella as our ECE programs is our before and after school care program, which are also licensed. And so that's part of why they fall under my umbrella as well. Our ECE division enjoys a really close connection to our elementary division. And so what that means is we do things like have class partnerships where each early childhood classroom has a partner class in a higher grade level. We also share special events with them. Spirit days, theme days, we do a lot of those things in alignment with the elementary division so that our little ones really feel like they're part of the larger school community. What makes early childhood at CFIS special? I mean, I think there's a million things. The 2 biggest ones, I think, are that you've kind of chosen your child's forever school. And that means that they're part of the IB primary years program. We're very proud to officially be a candidate school for the International Baccalaureate Primary Years program beginning next year, which is a program that really helps children think bigger and think deeper and connect ideas in new and innovative ways, always through the lens of kind of internationalism. And then, of course, we're also a full French immersion school. And something that we're really proud of is that we're actually the only full French immersion IB World School in Alberta. So we've had the IB diploma program in our high school for a couple of years. We're starting the primary years program next year. And a few years after that, we'll offer the middle years program. So your children will be able to benefit from an IB education from the time they're 3 all the way until they graduate from high school. A big question that parents often have is, what will my child do all day? What does that actually look like for them? And so to give a bit of an overview of what was probably provided when you first visited or spoke to Naileen about the school. In preschool and junior kindergarten, we follow what's called an emergent curriculum model. And what that means is that our units of study are drawn from the children's interests and needs and skills, rather than from kind of a pre-planned, every junior kindergarten class is learning about apples in the month of September. What you'll notice when you're here, when you're in the hallways, is that one class might be learning about penguins, and one class is learning about castles, and one class is learning about dinosaurs. And all of those units of study are really drawn from the things that the children come in talking about and excited about. In preschool and junior kindergarten, it is a choice-based and center-based program. So what that means is that while we really encourage the children to participate in something like circle time, and as they get towards the second half of junior kindergarten, we really strongly encourage them to participate. At the end of the day, if they're really deeply engaged in what they're doing, children have the option to continue another activity rather than join into a whole group program. What this means for our teachers is that it's their responsibility to offer really deeply engaging, interesting activities and choices that will engage the children's curiosity and that the kids will want to participate in. We know that children learn best through play. Our preschool and junior kindergarten classes have music classes with a music specialist and phys ed classes with a phys ed specialist. Those specialists are not just specialized in their areas, they're also specialized in early childhood education. And then they also get to enjoy art workshops with our art department on about a 6-week rotating schedule. Each class has an opportunity to do an art workshop. In kindergarten, we follow a semi-immersion curriculum, and that's because once they're in kindergarten, we do need to follow the Alberta Program of Studies. So we have some mandated things we need to teach and we need to cover. But one of the beauties of offering a full day, full-time program is that it gives us lots of time to also follow lines of inquiry that are inspired by the children's interests and needs. There's a balance of some teacher-directed instruction and some student-directed learning in the classrooms. There's time for work, such as it is, and for play. Our kindergarten classes still have at least an hour of true child-led free play as part of their school day every single day. They also get specialist classes in music and phys ed and art. So it's really a natural progression from preschool to junior kindergarten through to kindergarten in terms of the level of structure, the level of teacher-directed activities, and the expectations around participation and everything. For me, as a principal and as an expert in early childhood education, the best possible answer for your child to give you when you ask them, what did you do all day? The best possible answer is for your child to say, we just played, mommy. We played all day long. That tells me that they love coming to school, that school for them is fun and magical and engaging and doesn't feel like work. And what we know about that is that that lays the foundation for them to love school forever. If they feel like school is a safe and fun and positive place for them to be when they're little, they will continue to have strong associations about school as they grow up. And as school starts to become a little bit more challenging, it gives them that foundation of connectedness and confidence to face challenges as schoolwork maybe gets a little bit more difficult as they move into elementary and secondary school. We also know from research that the single strongest predictor of children's long-term academic and social success is their self-regulation and social emotional skills in the early years. Okay, that is stronger than how quickly they learn to read. It is stronger than how many letter names they know when they're 5. That is the single most important thing. And what we know is that those skills, those social, emotional, and self-regulation capacities are built through play. So that's why that is the foundation of what we do. It's why it's the core part of our programming every single day. Your little ones also in this division really develop an identity as part of this larger school community. They really start to feel a sense of belonging and a sense of connectedness, which will serve them throughout their entire career with us. Who are the people who will be with your child? This is a very good question. In all of our early childhood classrooms, there's a classroom team. So there's a lead teacher and an assistant teacher. In preschool and junior kindergarten, there's often, in a full day program, there's usually a 3rd and possibly a 4th assistant teacher who also work in the room. And part of the reason for that is that in those classrooms, because they're licensed through Alberta Child Care Licensing, there's ratios that must be maintained at all times. And so to be able to do that and still provide our teachers with lunch breaks, we need some additional assistant teachers to cover lunch breaks in the room. For preschool and JK, there is a music team, so a lead music teacher and an assistant music teacher. There's a phys ed team as well with 2 people, and there's the before and after school team. What this means is that if you have a little one who's with us for a full day program plus before and after care, there's a lot of adults that they'll see over the course of the day. And your child may sometimes come home and drop names that you haven't heard before. But it's really because we operate as a team to make sure that the children's needs are met through all parts of the day, even if a teacher is away, to make sure that we're able to maintain routines and so forth. In kindergarten, again, a certified teacher and an assistant teacher assigned to the classroom. In kindergarten, there are times where there's only one adult with the children. There's not mandatory ratios in a kindergarten classroom. And so things like lunchtime or recess, often it's just the assistant teacher with the children. There's also times when the assistant teacher is on their lunch break. And so the certified teacher is alone with the kids. During the core instructional part of the day in kindergarten, there are typically 2 adults in the room. And then similarly, they have a music teacher, a phys ed teacher, and an art teacher. And again, if they're in the before and after school care program, there's that team as well that they interact with every day. How will you know how your child is doing? You've taken this big leap and chosen us and chosen French immersion, and you want to know if they're doing okay. The first thing you can expect is a weekly kind of classroom newsletter from the teacher, which will give you an idea of what they've been working on, how things are going, some highlights and some upcoming events. Our teachers also use an app called Seesaw, which is like sort of a digital photo and video album that is specific to each child and that is then shared to parents. So that will give you some insight into what's going on in their classrooms as well. They receive report cards 3 times a year. Report cards are followed either by a parent-teacher interview, which is exactly what you would imagine, a one-on-one between parents and teachers to kind of talk about the report card and how things are going, or they may be student-led conferences instead. And a student-led conference is an opportunity for you to come into the school with your child, and your child will walk you through some learning activities that are set up in the classrooms to demonstrate what they're working on and how they are doing. And then there's also throughout the year performances and celebrations that allow you to come in and see music performances, different art events, our sports days. Parents are often invited to attend. So there's all of those opportunities as well. The first days of school, let's get into some nuts and bolts. We do a staggered entry for our early childhood division. And so what that means is that for the first 4 days of the school year, only half the class attends on any given day. So this year, it means for September 6th and September 8th, children with last names starting with letters A through K will come to school. And on September 7th and September 9th, students with last names starting with L through Z will come to school. On September 12th, all ECE students will attend together. Just as a note, the first day of school that your child attends is formal uniform day. Our before and after school care program is available right starting from the very first day of school. So is busing. Many families in those initial days don't necessarily use those services, but they are available if you need them. Please just make sure that you maintain really good communication with your child's classroom teacher and the BAS and busing teams so that we know what your plans are and where your child is either coming to us from or where they need to go at the end of the day. We do in our early childhood division for those transitions, our staff accompany the children in the morning from the BAS program or the bus to their classrooms, at the end of the day from their classrooms to the buses or the BAS program. So they're always accompanied by an adult through those transitions. Drop off in the morning for preschool and junior kindergarten is between 8:20 and 8:30 a.m. What you'll do is you'll come in the doors outside that are labeled the south doors, and those doors lead into the entryway that's adjacent to the preschool and junior kindergarten hallway. Go down the hallway, drop off at the classroom, and then that hallway is a one-way hallway. So you'll exit through the double doors at the far end of that hall. For the last 2 years, because of COVID, we've had some really tight regulations where parents have not been allowed to go into the rooms themselves. I'm happy to share that it's our plan that you will be able to go into your preschool or JK classroom at drop off next year. That being said, one of the things we've learned from the last 2 years is the degree to which children are capable of managing a very high level of independence and settling into the classroom themselves. And so as soon as you or your child feels ready, absolutely feel free to drop them at the door with their teacher and let them start their day independently. In kindergarten, for the last 2 years, the children have been dropped at the doors outside the school and parents haven't come inside at all. Next year, we're happy to say that you'll be able to come in through the main doors and accompany your child to their classroom. In those first couple of days, especially those staggered entry days, absolutely feel free to go into the classroom and check things out and help them get settled. I would really encourage you after that first week of staggered entry to start scaffolding them into more and more independence. As soon as they're ready, you are able to drop them at the main doors. It is me standing at the main doors along with my colleague, the principal of elementary, in the morning, and the children are well supervised as they go from the doors down the hallway. There's about 12 different adults that they will cross paths with in that short stretch of hallway. For them, doing that transition by themselves really builds some impressive independence, and it kind of provides them with this little taste of being on their own. They're not even aware of how supervised they are, but it feels special for them to be able to walk down the hallway by themselves. It really makes them feel like big kids. It also makes your drop off easier because you don't have to worry about parking. You can just pull up out front, pop them out of the car, and they can come in on their own. Pickup time for preschool and junior kindergarten half-day programs is at 11:30 in the morning. Full-day programs pickup is at 3:20 p.m. Kindergarten pickup is at 3:25 p.m. So for drop off your biggest kids first and then your littlest ones, and then pick up, it's the reverse. So pick up your little ones first and then pick up your older ones. Pickup is each classroom has a slightly different pickup spot, and your teacher will share those instructions with you once you get the welcome note from the teacher. Typically, kindergarten classes walk out the main doors and meet parents outside on kind of that big wide sidewalk area that's out there. In preschool and junior kindergarten, each class has a slightly different door that they'll exit through to meet you at. So that's kind of how drop off and pickup work. And it really goes really smoothly. And we've really been pleased in the last 2 years to see how some increased independence has really served the children as well. What do they need to bring? Each child will need a backpack for 8.5 by 11 standard file folder. That's often what they use to bring their work and their artwork home. They will need a pair of black, we say they need to be polishable, indoor shoes. Please have them be slip-on or Velcro unless your child is very confident and efficient about tying their own shoelaces. Those black shoes will stay at school. They will need some clean, sturdy gym shoes as well. Also, please do slip-on or Velcro for those. Those also stay at school for phys ed class. And then they'll need some weather-appropriate outdoor shoes. Typically, those are the shoes that they wear to and from school. So in the winter, their outdoor shoes are their winter boots. If it's muddy outside, their outdoor shoes are their rain boots. If it's nice and warm and dry, it can just be good, sturdy shoes for outdoor play. Please don't send flip-flops or Crocs for those. Their kids are just too busy outside to be safe in anything that isn't nice and sturdy. Please send a complete change of clothing. So it's a complete change of uniform, as well as socks and underwear to stay at school or to stay in their backpack. Accidents happen. Sometimes it's a toileting accident, sometimes it's a yogurt accident, sometimes it's a mud accident, but it really makes things nice and smooth and easy if those accidents happen to have access to a complete change of clothing. And then they will need a lunch bag. We recommend the bento style lunch bags. We find that those increase independence and reduce waste, but please choose a lunch bag that your child likes and that they're able to open and close and operate independently. Those are the most important things. For snacks and lunch, parents often have questions about what should I send to eat. My best advice is to send familiar foods that your child enjoys and that you know they will eat. We are a nut-safe school because we do have children who have life-threatening nut allergies. So please don't send anything that contains nuts or that may contain nuts. For half-day programs, they need a small, healthy snack, and that's all. For full-day programs, they will need 2 snacks, so a morning snack and an afternoon snack, as well as a lunch. And then they'll need a small spill-proof water bottle that they're able to open and use themselves. One note on the question of what to pack is that we decided a few years ago that the very best people to decide what your child should eat while they're at school, the very best person to decide that is you. And what that means is that we don't kind of micromanage what children eat and when they eat it. Our preference is always that children eat something to put some nutritious calories in their body throughout the day. Bottom line, if you don't want your child to eat chocolate chip cookies for morning snack at 9:30, please don't send chocolate chip cookies at all. Send things that you are comfortable with them eating at any time of day in any order. The way that we kind of break it down in terms of who's in charge of what are that it's your job to provide and pack an adequate supply of familiar, nutritious food that your kiddo can manage by themselves. Our job is to provide time, opportunity, and encouragement to eat. And your child's job is to decide what and how much to eat and in what order. And we have found that laying things out like that works really well and helps us make sure, as I say, that these little guys are putting some gas in their tank throughout a very busy school day. I'm also really happy to share that we are planning to offer a hot food program in all of our full day early childhood classrooms next year. And you'll be able to order hot meals for your child if that's what you prefer to do. That information will be forthcoming in June. Please make sure your little one is ready for outdoor play. Our kiddos spend a lot of time outside, sometimes up to a half day once they kind of build up the stamina. There's a forest nearby that they'll go and spend the whole morning there. So please make sure they're dressed warmly in the winter, they're waterproof in the spring and fall, that they're equipped to be active and outdoors for a significant part of their school day. Our cutoff for when it's too cold to play outside is -22 Celsius. So please keep that in mind, that even when it's chilly, they will be outside. When it's -22, they'll be outside a little bit less time, but we do like to send them out to get some fresh air and enjoy the snow. One of the biggest questions about uniforms often is how many should you buy? And the answer to that really depends on how often you like to do laundry. You should count on that if we are doing our jobs well, your child will frequently come home dirty. There will be paint, there will be pudding, there will be dirt, there will be all kinds of things. We use washable paint. We do everything we can to make sure everything washes out, but our students play hard, and that does mean that they come home dirty. So make sure you have enough uniform pieces to keep them in uniforms for at least a week. And the staff in school wear are wonderful about providing guidance on quantities based on your preferences there. In terms of volunteering, because we're a French immersion school, this isn't a model where there's like a class parent volunteer every single day in there helping, mostly because most of our parents don't speak French, and that French immersion piece is so important to the children's language acquisition. However, there are absolutely opportunities to go into the classroom and read a story, to do a presentation about your profession or your culture or a significant holiday in your family or a hobby that you have. Young children are happy to learn about almost anything that is interesting to you will be interesting to them. When we have field trips, we need volunteers to help with those. And when we have special events, there's often calls for special event organizers and support. So there are lots of opportunities. They just don't look quite like kind of what you might imagine around having a parent in the classroom. Any of our parent volunteers are required to have a police check with a vulnerable sector clearance. That process can take a couple of weeks to complete. And so I would encourage you even now to get that process started. The email address that's on the screen belongs to one of our receptionists, Madame Sylvia Zoll, and Sylvia can absolutely, if you contact her, she can walk you through the process. How can your child be ready for September? Most important number one thing that you'll find I'm actually kind of a nag about is an eye exam. Vision problems can cause not only trouble with reading, but trouble with behavior, trouble with fine and gross motor skills, trouble with self-regulation, as well as trouble with some really critical pre-literacy and pre-numeracy skills. So if your child hasn't had an eye exam at all, or if they haven't had one in the last year, please have one before school starts. If they need glasses, let's have them have those glasses right from the very first day of school. Our playground is open to the public through the summer months. So coming for a play date or as a family outing to play on the playgrounds can be a nice way to at least help your child be familiar with some part of our building. Please work on their sleep schedule. Children aged 3 to 5 need 12 to 13 hours of sleep per day. Some of that may be napping. But please try and, if you can try and get them on a regular sleep schedule that accommodates their school schedule before school starts, it'll help those first weeks go a little bit more smoothly. And then the other thing really is independence. Is your child able to dress themselves? Can they manage their outdoor wear on their own? Can they change shoes? Can they change socks? All of those kinds of things. Can they open their lunchbox? Can they choose a snack? Think about those kinds of things and use the summer to practice them. In a classroom, the children are expected to help clean up. And so absolutely at home, even at age 3, there are things they can do to contribute to household chores. They can sort socks when they're fresh out of the laundry. They can sort cutlery as it comes out of the dishwasher. They can feed a pet. So having them take on some of those chores will enhance their independence as well as their self-confidence and preparation to start school. So this is often a big question, given that most of our families don't speak French, but you've chosen a French immersion experience for your child. How can you support them if you don't speak the language? The single most important thing that you can do to support your child's school experience is to have them at school on time every day that they are well enough to be here. Especially in a French immersion setting, a huge part of their learning comes from exposure to that language. The less time they are here, the less they are exposed to the target language, and that will affect their language acquisition. Being on time means they're here for that critical first part of the morning, that transition time. There's usually time embedded there for them to get a little bit of one-on-one from a teacher to connect and start their day. And it also sends a message that in your family, School is important, that being at school is important, and being on time for school is important. So that's a really valuable tone to set right from the beginning. Rest and recreation, you can expect that for about the first 6 weeks of the school year, your little one will be tired after school. If you've ever spent time in a language immersion setting yourself, you know how tiring that cognitive demand can be. So you can expect them to be tired when they get home. Unfortunately, you might also expect them to be grouchy because they are tired after school, and I will apologize for that in advance. One of my recommendations is up until about Thanksgiving to maybe avoid any after school activities during the week until you start to get a sense of how they're navigating the load of school and the pace and how their energy levels are. Another really important thing that you can do to support your student is by maintaining good communication with their teacher and the school. If they come home and they tell you something that seems a little bit off, or like maybe the story is incomplete, reach out to their teacher and say, you know, she came home and she said there was a dog inside the classroom. I feel like maybe I'm missing some pieces. Teachers are usually able to shed some light on stories like that. And that really helps establish a nice, clear communication and strong rapport between you. Please continue to read to your children at home. Read to them in whatever languages you speak at home. Talk about letters and sounds and stories. No matter what language you do that in, it is serving their developing literacy skills and will serve them across all languages. And then please continue to value your home language, especially if your home language is not French or English. Please keep using that language at home. Your child will learn English and French at school and through peer relationships, and by virtue of living in a city where the default language is English. So if your home language is Spanish or Korean or Mandarin, please keep speaking those languages. What a gift for your child to grow up trilingual or multilingual as they age. That will serve them for the rest of their lives. More details that you can look forward to between now and the end of June. If you have enrolled in our before and after school care program, you can expect confirmations and contracts on that in the coming weeks. If you have signed up for busing, you can expect confirmation on bus schedules and bus routes in the coming weeks. And same thing for the food service option that I talked about earlier. Details are coming, so please stay tuned and keep checking your email for updates on those things. If you have questions, who do you talk to? Always, always, always your first contact is the classroom teacher. They're the best person to answer questions about your child's experience. They know the most about your child's day-to-day experience. So please start with them. I'm always here to answer questions. If you feel like you missed something from the teacher or there's something that maybe I can respond to better, I'm happy to communicate with you as well. I know that many of you have been through the admissions process, have been pen pals with Madame Naileen in our enrollment office. And once your child actually starts and it's the first day of school, I'm happy to be your new pen pal to answer any of those questions once they're with us. In preschool and junior kindergarten, if you have questions about kind of some of the nitty gritty of some policies, Madame Nancy Lachance is our coordinator of licensing, and she's a good resource for that. And then if they're in kindergarten and they're in our before and after school program, Madame Colleen Hutton is the coordinator for that program, and she's the best person for any questions around that. Some important dates that are coming up. The week of August 29th, you can expect to get a welcome note from your child's teacher along with a welcome video that you can watch with them. On September 1st in the evening, we will host a Meet the Teacher event that is for parents to come into the school, see the classroom, and enjoy a presentation from your child's teacher. On September 2nd in the afternoon, there is a classroom open house event. What that means is for parents and children are able to come to the school together to see the classroom and meet the teacher before the first day of school. September 2nd is a Friday. And so this allows you to meet the teacher, see the classroom before you go into Labor Day weekend, which may help you have a bit of a less anxious Labor Day weekend if your child has a bit of a sneak preview, and then they're ready to start on September 6th or 7th. And then on September 12th, all the children attend together. Also really happy to share and announce that we have rolled out some summer programs this summer that may be of interest to you. We're offering a kickoff to kindergarten camp the week of August 15th, which is really designed for children who are starting kindergarten with us and who want to get a bit of a dip their toe into some French language, some classroom routines, some fine motor skills. It's open to children who are newly enrolled at CFIS for kindergarten. It's also open to children who've been with us for junior kindergarten and are staying with us for kindergarten. In addition to those, we're offering an outdoor explorers camp for children going into grades 1 to 6 the week prior, so that week of August 8th to 12th. And if you're interested in those, please check out the link that's on your screen. Madame Colleen, who is our BAS coordinator, is also coordinating those camps and is happy to answer any questions. But I really encourage those as an option. If you're new to our community, it will give your little one kind of a sneak peek of the building, help them meet some friends, and get a little bit oriented before school starts. And that, I think, covers all of the big important stuff that I want you all to know before your children start. We can't wait to have them in the building and to meet them in person. Lots of them we have met online. And so it's always nice to see their little faces shining live and in person rather than on a screen. Please take good care of them over the summer and good care of yourselves. We can't wait to have them with us again. If you have any questions between now and when school starts, please feel free to reach out to Madame Naileen. And we can get all of those questions answered. Thank you again so much. We can't wait to have your little ones with us and to have you join the CFIS family.